Welcome back. This is Running Together now. Episode 34 of Revisited.
Oh my goodness.
It's only because it's all kind of running together now. Because we're recording 33 and 34 back to back. Because 33 was kind of quick. Hunter x Hunter. The Beauty of Nen. A tribute to the best power system in Shounen Anime. Hunter x Hunter. By...
it was Dr. Oh no, why'd you put me on the spot like this? You downloaded it. It's by Dr. DrUpauli. I'm not even gonna try.
Yep.
I might say something offensive in another language.
So yeah, as far as Nen, I think the concept of Nen is a really good one, but I think the execution falls flat on its face because you have a lot of things that are underexplored or explored heavily but not utilized.
Yes, I believe that it's broken to an almost irreparable degree. Once you introduce contracts, it's like, well, you don't fit it up. There's nowhere to go from here.
So let's just see what he has to say. Let's get into it. Gotta hit this with the mouse first.
I'm not going to specifically go over how Nen works, as there are many other people who are more willing to...
This sounds like that Batman dude.
...read a wiki page for you. This video isn't explaining Nen, but it's more of a tribute to Nen. I'm going to talk about how Nen is used in a narrative sense and how the series benefits from it. With that being said, let's get started. Nen is such a tightly written battle system that is by far the best Shonen has to offer.
Okay.
Just kidding. Not really. Just to offer. Just kidding. Not really. It's detailed enough for those who want to dig into the fine specifications.
You can't make this title... Just throw that in there without explaining what other things are better, and then just move on. You can't do that. What's the point of doing that? What's the point of... I guess this is just mad clickbait of just going, no, it's the best, but it's actually not, though. But I'm going to explain why it's really, really good, though.
That is by far the best Shonen has to offer. Just kidding, not really.
And also he goes, it's so tightly written and everything. It's really not.
Yeah.
It's people get powers and
arbitrarily,
and I guess you're just a transmitter because whatever.
And then contracts,
restrictions
of Nen.
Why chains?
That is by far the best Shonen has to offer. Just kidding, not really. It's detailed enough for those who want to dig into the fine specifications, yet simple enough to be understood by people who are just casually watching.
I don't think so.
So diverse that it has innumerable...
I do not think so, because they spent like 3 episodes in a classroom explaining and exploring and developing Nen. And this was just like base level baby Nen before contracts and stuff. I don't think it's so simple to explain.
The short of Nen is, let's say everybody's at 100. Attack and defense points, because there are attack and defense points when it comes to Nen. Oh, I hope you know that. So let's just say everybody's at 100. If Class A battles Class B, Class A might now become 110 attack, still 100 defense, whereas Class B might be 90 attack and 80 defense. Mm-hmm. But Class C might be 120 to 90 to Class A, blah, 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 blah. So, it's supposed to be like this Pokemon mobile game, fire beats water, beats blah, 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 goes on and like that. But this is not explored.
This is not explored at all. We never see God King Rock, biggest Chad Rock man, going up against a pretty good paper dude, and then paper dude winning because he's just got the type advantage. We don't see an Ivysaur going up against a Blastoise and the Ivysaur wins just because he got the type advantage. We never see that. It's just brought up, and in the second movie, that boy's explored.
Oh no.
Oh, that second movie is the worst anime movie I've ever seen.
Worse than Bleach Goes to Hell?
Ooh. Dude, I might have to watch the boys back to back because... I think the Bleach one was fine up until the end. It was just a typical whatever. Bleach is just doing his thing.
But wasn't it Heavy Hit Sugaya?
No.
Oh,
Hitsugaya had a whole nother movie. Okay. I think that movie would be worse.
Okay. But that's only because you hate Hitsugaya.
And also, it was just really boring. And it was just one of those horrible logic things where it's just like, why don't you just ask for help? If you'd ask for help, everything could be avoided. No, I'm a lone wolf. I got to do this. Shut the up. But yeah. We never see that. And if we did see it, the whole...
A to B.
Paper band beats better rock dude. If we did see that, that'd be a lot more interesting. Then we would have to be like, oh my goodness, is he a transmitter or is he an emitter? What is he, so that I know what I'm up against? And do I have the advantage? I know what this dude's Nen ability is, but can I counter it because he got the type advantage?
And then you can have people that are just like, I have the type advantage, so this is going to be an easy one, and they get beat up because the person is just so much stronger that the type advantage, even if it's not very effective, it doesn't matter because I'm level 80 and you're level 42.
Possibilities and applications, while still having very defined limitations. It also perfectly...
No. The only thing that has limitations are contracts. We don't know who the contracts are with. They're basically just like manifested resolve. But
then you have to be like, okay, I want to have an unbreakable chain that only captures the Phantom Troop members. But if I do it against anybody else, I die.
It's even stronger.
You have to internalize that yourself. So you have to sit there and think about that and just go, well, how do you vocalize that? How in your mind, because I don't know how your mind works, but if I think of something, it'll be jumbled up. It'll be like, I'm thinking like, I got to go to the store. But then as I'm going, I got to go to the store. I already know what I'm thinking. So I'm like, where are my shoes? Where is this? Where are my headphones?
Yeah, no, mine is very straightforward.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got to go to the store. And then store is done, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta get this and this.
No,
and this.
Yeah.
I'm
just like, I gotta go to the store. Headphones, keys. Is it charged? And it's already just all jumbled up.
That's very weird because I feel like the reason I stumble and stutter a lot is because my mind is fighting to get the next word that I want out. But your mind is so jumbled, but you don't really do that. It's just like whoop right out your mouth.
I'm already on to the third sentence. So it's I'm cream crimsoned it.
Yeah, and I'm still trying to get the sentence from my mind to my mouth.
Demonstrates characterization and progression.
Okay, here's another thing. It's said that techniques are a thing that is needed and it can help you in fight, and this leads credence to power not necessarily needing to be the biggest thing, because you could have a technique that deals with someone with a lot of power, but Miriam was undefeatable simply because he had a lot of power.
Simply. We never explored his Nen ability. We never explored his Nen type. Nothing. He was just the biggest and the strongest. Same thing with Neferpito. Same thing with the other two. Showerpoof and...
Couldn't tell you the big red dude.
Yeah, he's somebody. But yeah, he was just the biggest and the strongest. That's all.
Perfect platform.
And again, you know what is again, even if we do type advantages, freaking what is Pompadour man's name?
Pompadour. Oh, Knuckle.
Knuckle can just beat anybody given enough time and effort. Type advantages mean nothing there.
What a great power.
That
does almost nothing to the series.
He's broken. He's Shino. Where he's just like, no, we can't.
It's way too strong. Just gotta take it away.
The perfect platform for rich, character-based shonen.
Okay, go back a little bit, because I remember him saying something about it's personality-driven or something.
Very defined limitations. It also
That was some poor editing right there. There was a frame where you could see.
It's fine.
Limitations. It also perfectly demonstrates characterization and progression. The perfect platform for...
Don't just drop something like that again. What do you mean characterization and progression?
This is what I don't like about a lot of YouTubers. They do a lot of flowery words and then they explain it later, or just don't explain it and they just drop it like a wet fart. But what you should do is go, it's perfect for characterizations and blood, and I'm going to explain why I think that way now.
Yeah. Instead of just going, you'll get those later. Or maybe not, because some of them just go, I'm going to just drop this and then just move on.
Rich, character-based shonen. There are 6 Nen types, and according to Hisoka's
Thought you weren't going to wiki this.
personality test, enhancers are simple, honest, and determined.
Thought you weren't going to wiki this.
Transmuters are
And pause.
whimsical.
This is also according to Hisoka. Why are we taking Hisoka as pure and simple facts? Why are we taking his word? What are we doing here? He's a horny perverted fight man. What does that have to do with anything?
Who's awesome.
Who's amazing.
Enhancers are simple, honest, and determined. Transmuters are whimsical and prone to deceit and dishonesty. Emitters are impatient, not detail-oriented, and quick to act in a volatile manner. Conjurers are typically high-strung, overly serious.
Typically. So that means that there could be people that are outside of these personality ranges that could also become these things. Yep. So it doesn't stand to reason that it's not necessarily what your personality type is, because the environment you grow up in, all these other things can factor into what your personality is. Does that mean that absolutely your Nen now needs to be this specific technique type just because you grew up in a loving household and you became an honest person because of it?
And I have to assume that this is just Hisoka fighting enough emitters and transmitters just go, okay, I now understand why you're an emitter because of your personality is this. What if it's somebody like the first Hokage who is outwardly very serious, but inwardly he's very silly? People can show different personalities depending on different moments and things like that. So why are we taking Hisoka's word as a pure and simple fact?
Stoic, and observant. Manipulators are argumentative and logical, choosing to advance at their own pace. And specialists are independent.
Specialists, yeah, they're just everything.
Or
that's
nothing.
That's a good one. That's the best one.
Are independent, individualistic, and charismatic.
Isn't that Hisoka?
I think Hisoka is a specialist.
No, because he just showed who Hisoka was in that whole big "these are what they are" thing. Right there.
Oh, okay. Shut up.
You know what? Shut up.
I guess it's one of those things where not all the times, but for the most part, these is what it is. You gotta go back a little bit.
Yeah. I went way too far. Jesus Christ.
And specialists are independent, individualistic, and charismatic. Gon is a simple boy who slowly finds pleasure in the thrill of fighting. He's like a gambler, a self-indulged risk-taker. His Nen ability, Jajanken, is one where he focuses all...
Okay, here's a question. Gon's personality changed throughout the arcs. Does his abilities now have a chance to change?
I guess it's the moment that you develop your Nen, whatever your personality, your prevailing personality is, because I'm a very silly person, but I'm also very serious. I think they would take the silly thing into consideration before the serious thing.
Okay.
So I think it's whatever the most prevailing personality trait that you have the moment that you develop your Nen, that's what Nen type you're gonna spec into.
That sounds nonsensical.
According to Hisoka,
Janken is one where he focuses all of his Nen into a single strike in hopes of it working out.
it's not all of his Nen.
Rock, paper, or scissors.
It's just a good chunk of it.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen him throw multiple times in multiple fights.
Absolutely.
Guess wrong and you could be done for.
Why is there always this guess wrong thing that these people implanted to this? This is not what it is. People don't go, I guess paper. Oh, it was rock. You take triple the damage.
Yeah. People don't know that it's either a cut and air palm strike or just a straight punch. He just goes junk and they go, what the is he doing? Unless they see it already, which they can't because according to you, he pumped all of his Nen into that single strike.
Guess right, and Gon just lost a ton of Nen, and now you have the advantage.
What are you talking about? This isn't fair. He was out of Nen basically because of his clock thing.
Bankruptcy.
Boy, that's a good deal. Man, he was great.
Oh, it was like chapter 13, bankruptcy
It
or
might have been
something.
11. It doesn't matter what, or am I thinking of Phil?
Either way, the reason he was able to knock that away is because Gon did an emitter move, and he is not an emitter, so the ability itself was way lower. Gon used that as a way to distract him.
There, guess right, guess wrong. I guess what it was. He's got examples.
It's simple, childish, and risky.
Yeah, you see how he goes around? He used that as a pure distraction so he can hit his actual big move.
Reflecting Gon's character tendencies to a T. Even his adult transformation is similar conceptually to Jajanken. He gives up his future and all of the potential he had, storing it all into this one moment and hoping it works out. Crollo is a well-known criminal, the leader of the Phantom Troop,
We're moving
a
on.
group with an A-class bounty. He doesn't have an identity of his own, thus he doesn't really have an original Nen ability. He wants to learn more about himself and humanity, which ironically gives him an aura of conviction, giving him a sort of charisma. He takes great
Wow.
Hey, I mean,
Gives him an aura of conviction, which kind of gives him a sort of charisma,
yeah, I guess.
which allows him to become a specialist.
I mean, at the same time, couldn't you say that about Gon? He's got his conviction of I want to find my dad, and
Can you
he
say
has
that?
the charisma to kill a little kid who has never had a friend in his life. He talks to him for like 5 seconds, and all of a sudden he goes, "Shouldn't you run?" And Killer goes, "Yeah, I think I should run." That's pretty charismatic.
Shouldn't all these people be specialists then? Because they all have convictions of why they want to be hunters. I want to be a doctor to save my friend.
No, but I guess the arrogance outweighs the conviction, thus leading to the charisma. So the
What type of
hard-headedness,
spec point bullshit is this?
the hard-headedness is a 50 and his conviction is a 30. So the hard-headedness takes over, so he becomes whatever he becomes.
But wouldn't you
instead
be
of a specialist.
hard-headed based on your conviction?
Sure, but you're hard-headed based on the convictions.
So
the hard-headedness comes first.
But the hard-headedness should be because of your conviction.
No, you could also just be hard-headed and then you'd be like, okay, now I'm going to hard-headedly do my conviction.
But your conviction is the first thing.
I think the hard-headed is the first thing. If we're taking all this thing as face value and what it's supposed to be.
interest in the intricacies and individualities
This is a
of
pretty bad
humans.
ratio.
Thus, his ability is to steal other people's abilities. In a way, stealing their identity. Knuckle
Yeah, okay.
puts on the appearance of a tough guy, but it's really just a facade hiding his cowardice. Knuckle has to punch you to activate his ability. He can continue fighting you, but his ability is used most effectively when he runs away. The ability is built.
No, not necessarily, because if he hits you, you get more bankruptcy through that. So, if you hit him back, you pay him back some of that.
So it would be better to just continue wailing on them.
Depends on what you're going for.
Yeah.
It could be used both effectively. It's not more or less effective in any one of those. And I think if they get far enough away, it stops working. Like, it stops going up.
I think that's what it is. I'm not 100% on that.
Up like it's for a tough guy, but it's best used by a coward. Nen is built in a way that constructs complex, intellectual battles, as opposed to most other shonen where the outcome is basically determined by whoever has the biggest blast, or
Meruem had the biggest blast and won.
Yeah. Netero put everything that he had in whatever class that he was in into whatever it was. But he could not hurt Meruem simply because there was no intellectual battle there. Meruem was just simply knocked around a lot by Netero. And then Netero goes, okay, none of this is working. So I'm just going to do my biggest thing. And then Meruem just went, yeah, that was pretty hype. You ready to talk now? What strategy did Meruem employ? Or did he just have the bigger number?
On top of that, you look at something like this Naruto and Sasuke fight. Sasuke had the bigger blast. But Naruto's was a technique that allowed it to... At face value, Sasuke had a bigger blast. But Naruto's was like a internal thing that ripped things apart and blah, 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 blah. And as far as I know, at the end of the war, the bigger blast did not win. I don't know, because I never read the end of Naruto.
Are we talking about the end of the...
Whatever you want to go with, bruh. Because I can't even tell you.
Because at the end of the Naruto Sasuke fight, bigger blast won. At the end of the... What was her name?
Conan?
No, Conan. Conan is the paper chick.
Yeah, I don't know. Mikiyaki?
What? It begins with a K, I think. Whatever. The Big Moon Mama. That kinda ended in a big blast. Whatever. Doesn't matter. But yeah.
Okay, you're going Naruto and you're probably going to show Dragon Ball.
That's the obvious one.
Maybe Bleach?
But then again, you have to just go, but what about all the Shika's fight? What about them?
You also got to go things like JoJo's, One Piece, Yu Yu. Yu Yu doesn't win with the bigger fights. I mean, just bigger blasts all the time. There's a lot of shonen out there that do not win by just having the bigger number. And again, the hardest person they've ever had to fight to this date had a big number.
Had just the biggest number. Never showcased a single Nen ability. He was just unbelievably powerful.
The strongest power.
Gon and Killua fought that ant dude before he even got Nen. And he was just stronger. And they could barely beat him.
Gon had to do the restriction of Nen to get everything he would ever get power-wise in history to beat somebody. And he beat her because he had a big number. What abilities did Pito have that allowed her to defeat Kite? Or was her number just bigger?
What? Biscuit. Biscuit, when they fought the Bomb Dudes team, bigger number, won. Because she was just stronger. Same thing with Killua. Bigger number, won. Gon, strategy was employed, sure. But that basically had nothing to do with his Nen ability. It was just, I just need to punch you. And once I punch you, my bigger number will prevail.
Is basically determined by whoever has the biggest blast, or the strongest power, or the most chakra, or ki. It's nearly impossible to...
Two examples, yes. Two of the obvious examples, not including what the Shika fights, not including the strategies that were employed in the Frieza fight, a little bit in the Saiyan saga, not including those. It was just bigger blast equals better.
To predict the winner of a Nen battle. This is because the fights in Hunter x Hunter are so cerebral.
No. You're showing the wrong thing here. There was nothing cerebral about this. He just goes, I'm the biggest, baddest Nen user on the planet, so I'm going to use my big, bad fist thing, and Meruem took all of them. There was no strategy employed here.
On the side of Meruem.
Even on the side of Netero.
Yeah, he just kind of used his best technique.
He just used a thing. Against anybody else, he would have won. I don't see how Hisoka's getting out of this. Because he was hitting like 1,000 times a minute. Enough to knock him back into rock and crush them rocks. People are getting killed within 10, 20 seconds. How is this strategy? This is poor editing right here. You could have showed almost literally anything else.
Are never determined by whoever has the most Nen.
Oh, dude, don't say never, because we've given so many examples.
The current example you're showing right now. Because why did Meruem win? Him just had a big number.
Big number. That's all it was. And don't tell me it was anything different. Because there was no strategy employed.
In this case, enhancers would win every battle. Nen battles are about who can mend their Nen with the most nuance to outwit their opponent. This allows Nen battles...
How did Meruem outwit Netero?
How
How
indeed.
did Gon outwit Pito?
How indeed. How did Pito outwit Kite?
Couldn't even tell you because we
What-
didn't get to see the fight.
We never what? I don't did
Here's
she
the thing.
have Dr.
No.
Blight at that point?
Yeah, she woke up with Nen.
No, but did she have the Nen ability of Dr. Blight?
Couldn't tell you.
Well, we don't know.
Here's another thing, and we've said this on a previous one. Pito, we never see her fight. So I don't know how big her number is.
We're just told that it's quite big.
Battles to be unpredictable and endless.
Yeah, you're showing this. But what else? You know what? There are a lot of things.
There
like
are a
this.
lot of things, yeah.
Mhm.
But
you can't just say
they're all just won by strategy and stuff. Because that's just 100% false.
Creative. Nen abilities are just that, abilities. They're not standalone techniques. So you can adapt and mold your ability to fit any sort of situation, as opposed to a standalone technique which is far more restrictive. Some of
What do you mean?
no. Something like JoJo's. JoJo's has a standalone technique. This is all you can do.
But then they molded so
Yes, that's why I'm like,
Way,
you're wrong
way
with
better.
that. You're absolutely wrong. Because this is very much a Batman type thing where it's just like, well, I need heat against Mr. Freeze, so let me heat up blah, 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 and this type of crap where I can just mold what I have into any situation I need to defeat the current foe, which is what he just said, as opposed to something like JoJo's where it's just like, I can make zippers, so everything I do, I just kind of gotta work within that confine.
Yeah.
my
But
favorite-
then you have to break it and then just go at any point in time, somebody can make a contract with themselves and fundamentally change their abilities. And you have to think about that, like, is that good? They could just be on the verge of dying, just like, okay, I want the ability to counteract this person's water ability, but I'll never be able to swim again. That's my restriction. And they'll just get it as far as we know. Because we never really, outside of the Gon thing, we never really see a contract being formed.
Gon did not form a contract.
I think he did.
He formed a restriction of Nen, which is a different thing.
But isn't the restriction of the Nen part of the contract? Because
No.
you have to restrict your Nen enough so that the bigger the restriction, the bigger the Nen.
It's a different type of thing
Is it?
entirely. Yes. There's contracts and then there's a restriction of Nen.
I thought there was a contract. I thought that the restrictions were the contracts.
So
So what are the contracts?
No. Contracts have restrictions within them, but the restriction of Nen is an entirely separate entity than contracts.
How so? Because I thought that you say you have a restriction of I can't use this against anybody else I'll die, and that becomes because of the contract of I can only use this against the Phantom Troops are always restricted by my ability, and if I use it against anybody else, I will die. That is the restriction.
That is restriction. That is a consequence of your contract.
So are you saying that the only time that we see a hard restriction and become stronger is the Gon thing?
That's a restriction of Nen. That's a totally separate thing.
No, I'm saying the
Yeah,
only
that's
time.
the only time we've seen that. The only real contract we've ever seen is in Kurapika's.
I'm pretty sure the contract was I get all the power that I will ever have, but I will lose my Nen ability.
No, anybody can do that. Anybody can do a restriction of Nen, and they will get everything they would ever have, and then
Did they say that?
that's a restriction of Nen. It's a different thing. Yes, please look this up.
Yeah, I'm fixing to.
It's not a form of contract. It's a totally separate thing.
You see this? I'm gonna show you a bit of my life. That's my life. Day in and day
Whoa!
out,
It's R-E.
if you say so.
I know, because that's how it's spelled.
If you say so. A strong Nen technique doesn't have to use a restriction. Okay, so I guess we're there as well. I'm on the Nen Wikipedia.
Okay. I'll also look up some stuff.
Let me look up R-E. Yeah. Restrictions. And being the product
Oh,
of
never
the
mind.
mind.
Nope, never mind. Because these people are going likely and all this other crap.
Oh yeah, that's a big problem with things like that. Because I looked up, because I was just like, maybe there is an explanation for animals in the Soul Society, and I looked it up, and I heard a lot of likes and maybes and assumptions and I thinks.
This theory, blah blah. Yeah, okay. So even the stuff I read up on is potentially incorrect. This is
Yeah, it's terrible.
This is the problem with a lot of high concept type stuff. Conceptually, it's this, this, and this. Okay, but what is it put into practice? Well, likely it's because of this type of thing. Well, maybe it's because of that type of thing. As opposed to just going, the author conveyed this exact thing. So maybe it was a contract, and his whole thing was like, I need every bit of power I'll ever have to defeat Pedo, and I'll never be able to use the Nen again, and that's my restriction, and blah blah blah.
Doesn't explain why he shriveled up.
Too much power.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Well, I guess Netero did kind of shrivel up once he used his like zero hand thing.
As opposed to a standalone technique which is far more restrictive. Some of my favorite Nen abilities are Franklin's finger guns.
Terrible.
Wait, we gotta explain that. How can you better put that into practice? What techniques can go, what strategy can you go, oh boy, here comes finger gun, man. He's, at the end of the day, he's just gonna finger gun you. And you gotta think around.
Bang, bang. Bang.
I didn't want to go there. But then you got to think around how to get around him, and that just becomes like a one-sided thinking sort of thing, as opposed to Franklin now has to think about how do I? No, he's just gonna be boom, 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 boom. Because does he have a restriction on the number of bullets, or how does he
reload it?
Is there like an overheat thing that he can only shoot for 10 seconds before he has to recharge?
Nen abilities are Franklin's finger guns.
No, just pause, please. I gotta, cause I will not have this just dropped on me and just go, yo, this is good though.
Hey, Black Clover real good, y'all.
No, Black Clover is bad. Didn't you hear him yelling? People are still doing that on Twitter, dude.
Are you serious?
There are certain things that will never die. Right now, even as we speak, there is a Goku versus Saitama debate going on Twitter.
Oh yeah, I saw that literally trending. It was like 100K.
And people are still going. And so yeah, that's just something that will never die.
Okay.
And I'm just like,
here's the thing. So Goku wins. What does that tell you? Saitama wins. What does that do for you?
I like this character more, so he wins.
I like Zoro. He's not gonna beat Goku.
Yeah, he is.
No,
because you like him more.
Absolutely not.
Do we just have one sentence here? Nen. Franklin is an emitter. As a member of the troop, he is feared and a powerful Nen user. He appears to have a large amount of aura, shooting hundreds of devastating bullets without growing tired. His enhancement skills, I guess he also enhances, also appear to be quite high as he came out of an explosion of a car completely unscathed. There's nothing about how his... Oh, wait, here we are. The speed and the power of bullets are tremendous, and coupled high rate of fire makes him able to slaughter dozens of opponents. Although Franklin is not required, Franklin chose to cut off his fingertips because he felt like it would be more effective. And since self-imposed limitations can greatly enhance Nen abilities, the power of each bullet is increased dramatically. So he cut off his fingers?
And that was his restriction?
What? That's not a restriction?
Absolutely not.
That's not a restriction? He expels aura from his fingers in the form of bullets. So I guess however much aura he has, that's how many. That's the bullets that he has.
But that's not a restriction.
That's not a restriction at all. So can anybody just go, I'm just going to cut off my toe and get better stuff? That's stupid.
Franklin's finger guns, Zeno's dragons, and Finks' wind-up punch. The more he winds up, the stronger it gets. Reminds me of... a lot of Donkey Kong from Smash Bros.
Yay, Donkey Kong. Hey, this was played as a joke in One Piece, and also super serious with the King Punch, where it's like he just gotta warm up for a good 3 days, and then you know
here it come.
It's a punch that can punch a hole through a Sea King, and they go, this is a joke, and then he uses it. It's like, oh, that's super strong, and then you're out of here. But then it comes back with Dofi's cage, where it's just like, here comes the King Punch, and that's devastated.
But the wind up punch, what? How
do these Hunter x Hunter people feel about One Piece?
How? We're gonna get back to that. But how does one person go, okay, I'm just a big punch dude. I don't know. I'm just going to wind my arm, and each time I wind it, it gets a stronger punch. How do you come up with that? What is... Wouldn't you want something easier? Because what if you lose your arm? Because it looks like he has to hold the arm and wind up. What if... And
is it stored? Like, is it just like wind up, that's 1, wind up, that's 2, and then 20 minutes later, wind up, that's 3?
Yeah.
Or
can you wind up 1,000,000 winds and then take it to a battle 2 days later and knock the head off of Merowyn?
Or is it just like, I have to stand in this position and wind up, and
the second that I stop winding,
it's already losing its effectiveness, and I gotta just start. It's like a wind-up monkey where the second you let go, it's already losing its momentum. So is it just like, I stopped winding up, I'm losing my momentum, I have to use this as soon as possible?
And what are we talking about? 1 wind equals the strength of 1 person, 2 winds equals the strength of 2 people? Are we doing that? Or is it just like, it just gets stronger? Is it a multiplier or an addition?
Is it endless?
Is it endless?
One of the most important attributes behind building a fantasy story is establishing its setting. An interesting and well-constructed...
It's establishing rules and sticking to them.
Yes.
The moment that somebody who ate a devil fruit swims, that's a moment that things are broken in One Piece. Jack, he is a fish man. He can breathe underwater, but he can't move because he ate a devil fruit. Makes sense. Makes 100% sense. He's still just laying there like, boy, I hope somebody helps me.
Because I can't do nothing in this ocean.
Backbone of all fantastical work.
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
Fantasy story is establishing its setting. An interesting and well-constructed setting is the backbone of all fantastical work.
Disagree. Yeah. I feel like you can have a real world setting, but fantasy characters within it. Mm-hmm. But as long as there's rules and it's stuck to, don't really mind.
Yeah, doesn't really matter.
Hunter x Hunter is an odd case as the series is grounded in relative reality, meaning Nen isn't...
Who are you talking about? What?
It's an Earth-like setting.
Okay.
With restaurants and things.
So it's One Piece. They went to the sky. There's cities on the clouds.
Sure did. But the Dark Continent, though, huh?
Yeah. Hey, what's that over there? Oh, that's the Dark Continent. Let's go. Bet.
Introduce last arc, and here we go.
A major component in how their society functions. This doesn't stop the world of Hunter x Hunter from being uninteresting. The first story arc starts off with a young boy with an affinity for nature, another young boy with family problems, an intelligent boy
we don't learn about the family problems until later.
No, we don't.
Who's reluctant to open up, and a klutz with a pure heart.
Pause.
We don't learn about the pure heart till like episode 5.
Why was he an assassin but didn't know anything about Nen?
See these guys perform.
No, please. He's a whole family. You would think that he'd be like, okay, develop your Nen ability and become a better assassin to help us with assassinating things. He got his whole family.
Yeah, surely that's what he needs. Better help assassinating things.
Yes, he does. But yeah, he got his whole family. Surely he saw one of them doing a weird ability. Because when he was like, Nen, what's that? Surely he was just like, yo, here's my needles or whatever I'm doing. And he was just like, oh, I guess he can just do needles.
Maybe he was deemed a failure, so they were just like, yeah, we're not going to teach him anything.
Was he?
Because he gets tortured a lot and stuff, and I don't know. But then maybe that was to build him up as an assassin, so maybe not. I don't know. Maybe they reach a certain age, and that's when they learn about Nen.
But he was already an assassin, a trained assassin.
That means nothing.
He can rip people's heart out.
Yep.
They were like, yo, here's the baddest mother in this prison. He slaughtered millions of people, and he just rips out his heart.
Did not having Nen prevent any assassinations?
But it could be better.
You don't know that because you don't know what his Nen ability would be.
It could be anything.
Yeah, and it could be awful.
But it could be trained into anything. It could be contracted into anything better.
No, you're still a contract within your own thing.
Sure, but you could just go, okay, I can turn invisible, but I can only turn invisible when I'm holding my breath.
Yeah, but only if you're in that spec thing. I don't know if you can contract into another spec. You can't be a...
No, you can't.
Okay,
But anything that you can be, you could make it better with the contract.
Yeah.
He goes, I got these bull chains, but I can't make it better.
The chains are good.
The
chains could be good better.
I'm just saying, Nen sucks.
It doesn't suck. Conceptually, it's very good, but there are a lot of problems within Nen, and people are just like glossy-eyed over it because they think it's so fantastic that they're not looking at the real-world applications of Nen and going, hold on, wait a tick, that doesn't make any sense. They never showcased this type of thing. What are contracts, and who are they with, and what do they do, and why are there vows and things, and when can you activate it, when can you ever deactivate it, and so on and so forth.
Can you make another contract to nullify the restrictions of the first contract? Is there a limit to the number of contracts? Why did Netero not just go, okay, this contract is, this next punch will kill any chimera ant, but at the cost of my life? Why didn't he just make that contract?
Does it take a while to form a contract? Or
No, it doesn't, because it's gone.
But did he already have that contract before he went on that mission?
I don't believe so. I think we would have hinted towards that. Like,
maybe the darkness was a hint towards it.
Like, maybe if he was just looking at Pito just going, I can't use this now, but once she's finished, I'm using it. That jutsu. That Nen ability.
I think that's a little heavy-handed.
Naruto did it.
Yeah.
a lot.
It was awful. He's really using that jutsu.
I believe
3 seconds later, use jutsu. Then explain for 2 minutes what said jutsu was.
That's pretty bad.
But don't make me use that jutsu 400 chapters later, finally using that jutsu. Basically nothing.
That's what happened with Orochimaru and Sasuke. Sasuke was about to do the Kirin, and Oro was like, don't use that jutsu. And then he showed it off, and it was just like this lightning dragon that he used once. But yeah, I think that it was just in that moment of just like, whatever, I'm using all of this.
To open up, and a klutz with a pure heart. We see these guys perform some superhuman stunts, but we're made aware of the fact that they're severely outclassed by a few select individuals.
The strongest person they knew at that moment?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The number one hunter in the world, the chairman of the Hunter Society. Yeah, I should hope that they are outclassed by him.
It isn't until we're introduced to Nen where our scope of the world begins to broaden. However, what's especially interesting about Nen is how it isn't a main component of its world. Nen isn't something the general public is aware of, despite the fact that they can all theoretically use it. Only a few rare individuals are able to tap into some of Nen's properties without their realization.
But why?
These individuals are typically known as geniuses, psychics, or superhumans to the public. This can be anything from inadvertently being able to use the basic properties of Nen, or unconsciously developing a unique Nen ability that can be used without you really understanding how or why it works. This is typically...
What causes that to happen? Is it just your will is just so strong that you just develop something? Is it just your like of Gongi being so high that you just go, I'm going to do the perfect moves at any time? What causes this? Yes, they're seen as geniuses in their field or amazing or whatever, but what's the trigger?
Why they're not a million geniuses?
Why did Gon not have a trigger? Why did he have to be taught if he's already he's really, really good? In the scope of Hunter x Hunter, to normal people, he'd be a Hercule, where it's like, yo, this dude is killing motherfuckers. Straight up. Same thing with Killua. He's amazing. He's super, super fast. He can rip out people's hearts. Why did he have to be told about Nen where other people could just unconsciously activate it and never know what's up?
Geniuses of their own field. People like Neon, Zepile, and Komugi, to name a few.
Hey, what were those first two names?
A Neon. Flash play.
This notion subverts the standard we've come used to. It's not only through training that one can unlock Nen. It plays into the idea that Nen isn't actually a power system, but...
Okay. Subverts what? That you need to train to build up this thing? That you can't subconsciously use something like, oh, I don't know, the Conqueror's Hockey?
It subverts the concept of Nen being a power system to being something that everybody has that can be activated should the person will it to be.
What? You mean like how everybody has magic? And Black Clover? Yes. Or Ki in Dragon Ball?
Yes.
Or Chakra in Naruto?
Yes.
But not everybody's a ninja?
Yes. It subvert.
What the did it subvert? And then you do have to train it up.
Can we get that full? Because I was wondering that as well.
How or why it works. This is typically seen through geniuses of their own field. People like Neon, Zepile, and Komugi, to name a few. This notion subverts the standard we've come used to. It's not only through training that one can unlock Nen. It plays into the idea that Nen isn't actually a power system, but rather life energy itself.
That's the Force. How is that any different from the Force, sir?
Because Shonen. Not all media. Shonen.
Only Shonen. So it's groundbreaking in Shonen only, even though there was a whole movie series that did this exact concept some 20, 30 years before.
Or, Dragon Ball.
Or Dragon Ball. Or JoJo. Everybody got Hamon.
Nah. Just can't use it very well. Might even subconsciously use something.
It's just life energy. You just have to harness it.
Joseph wasn't even trained in this. He was just great at it.
Yeah, Hamon in his blood. He came from great Hamon users. Makes sense.
Yep.
But this is subverting and as we know from A List Exists, subversion equal good. As subversion equals good, themes equal good, fate equals good. So long as it has any one of those things, it's good. And if it has two of them, it's great. And if it has all three, guess what? It's amazing.
Life energy that you've manipulated, making Nen feel all the more personal.
Ki and Chakra?
And Hamon.
And Hockey? The Sky people didn't even know what they were doing. But they had Hockey.
That makes it more personal, though.
What are you talking about?
I'm subverted.
What do you mean?
I have been subverted.
I have been subverted.
Making Nen feel all the more personal. Those who unlock Nen without them knowing are, in a way, enlightened. There are even Nen abilities.
What are you talking about? This is tremendous.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
They're enlightened.
Mm-hmm. In a way. He said
even though they don't know what they're doing.
He said in a way. That covers it up.
Abilities and applications that have nothing to do with actual combat. Nen,
what did he say? What did he possibly say?
Them knowing are, in a way, enlightened. There are even Nen abilities and applications that have nothing to do with actual combat.
There are chakra people that heal.
There are devil fruits that have nothing to do with combat. There are Hamon abilities that have nothing to do with combat. There are stands with nothing to do with combat.
Brooke's ability is basically you get a second chance at life.
That's basically that's about it. Hamon, if not for vampires, it'd just be a way to like grow stuff and manipulate life.
Moody Blues is not a combat stand.
Cinderella. There are so many examples.
Do with actual combat. Nen simply reflects who we are in our natural state.
JoJo's?
People who have mastered Nen can live upwards of 110, potentially even 300 years with little signs of physical aging.
How? Why? What?
The last thing I want to talk about is how Nen...
Explain that.
What? Life energy. They've mastered the life energy. So now they get more life.
So... Yeah. Each time that you use Nen, you're using your life ability. So shouldn't that shorten it, not lengthen it?
No, because you've mastered it so much that the very life essence within you grows. And so when you use it, that's just excess energy because you've mastered it so effectively that your life is now 300.
No.
Your HP went up.
Okay, but what about the people that don't master it?
Leveled up.
What about the people that don't? What about Gon, who's just a punch monkey? He's eating up his Nen like nobody's business. He's not a master. So should he theoretically only live to 30 since he's using up his life energy?
Hey, how old was he when he grew? That's probably the end of his life. Yep.
No.
Debunked.
No.
Beat that argument.
Isn't intrinsically woven into the setting, but rather develops with the plot. I kind of talked about this before, but whenever we're introduced to a new plot line, different layers and concepts of Nen are also unfolded for us. Our first time seeing Nen, we aren't even aware of it. Gon conceals his presence and hides from Hisoka. This event is followed by Illumi intimidating Killua.
No, pause. What is that? What Nen ability is that?
Life.
No, because I know that there's like goo where you can like see better and hear better and stuff like that.
And all that crap.
Yeah, I don't think there's one that hides your presence.
Still don't know much about this mysterious power at this point. Similar to how
pause. So how can you say that it's Nen?
And could it not just be that Killua was intimidated because his older brother is a monster that kind of does some bad stuff to him?
Yeah.
And literally implanted something in his brain to control him? Could this not be said? Or is it just Nen?
Because there's a literal ninja in the world and he didn't know about Nen, but we see him like teleporting. What?
This world in general. It's not until Gon and Killua formally learn Nen where the show begins to come into its own. Hisoka vs. Castro is a fight that takes place immediately after. It's a fight that shows us how convoluted Nen battles can really get. Some true out-of-the-box, larger-than-life thinking was required in order to pull off the stuff they did. In York New, we find out—
Pause. Hisoka was playing with him. He was doing card tricks. Literally just like, hey, here's a card, and he made it into confetti. He was playing with him. He wasn't serious. He got his arm chopped off, but he knew that he could get it reattached easily.
In York New, we find out how Nen vows can exponentially increase your power thanks to Kurapika.
What are those? Please wiki this part. What are those? What are the restrictions? Can anybody do them? How do you form them? What is the time frame to get them?
Why didn't he just go, all right, I'm making a contract. My heart can never be pierced by anything, but my liver is extra susceptible to piercing. Easy. Restrictions. Done.
Can the contract be rejected? Because your restriction is not good enough.
Oh.
We learned that Nen is closely tied to one's emotions. His reckless vows and limitations made him virtually invincible against the troop. Greed Island is the arc where Gon and Killua's friendship fully flourishes. This is also where Nen's concepts are fully developed. Later on, we find out Kite was somehow reincarnated.
Okay, so then the Chimera Ant arc happens and no new Nen is unfolded. So it's not intrinsically woven into the plot of the entire series. Just certain arcs of the series.
I think he's getting into that. Because he said Kite was somehow reborn.
Was somehow reincarnated into an ant after death. Buddhists believe death is a natural part of the life cycle. They believe that after death, we are simply reborn. Our spirit seeks out a new body. What you're reborn into is essentially karma. Kite was reborn as an ant, which are stronger than humans, but it's still an ant, so it's technically an animal. And animals are lower than humans on the what you want to get reincarnated into totem pole. So does that mean Kite had good karma or bad karma? I'm really not sure. It's too early to talk about Kite right now, if I'm being honest.
What?
The ant arc hints at the idea.
But you brought this up. You brought the concept up. You can't be like, is it this thing or is it this thing?
Yes,
Who
you
knows?
can. Nux.
But that's bad though. We
Yes,
established that was a bad thing
but
to
you
do.
can absolutely do
Yeah,
it.
you can do it. I can rip off my pants and just swing my penis around going, I'm the Monkey King. But what does that do for anything? It doesn't mean I should.
Shouldn't you?
I guess that's his argument.
His argument is yes, rip off your pants.
Of course.
Swing that penis around. Monkey King a go.
Right
I
now,
mean, this thing could mean one thing or it could mean the literal exact opposite. Who's to say? Moving on.
The ant arc hints at the idea that Nen can not only survive past death.
No, that was hinted at before, where they get captured by the Phantom Troop, and the dude goes, Nen can live on even after death. It was foreshadowed there. So, no.
But it's also really bad that it does.
Yes.
It's super stupid, and
yes.
I hate it so much.
Same.
It makes no sense that it's just like, well, this is they just live on. What do you mean? Oh, her body just continues to move on. I can understand like what I mean even that. I'm like Kurapika's heart thing. If you kill him, it wouldn't that just like go away? Because the thing that's tethering it onto the world is dead, so it should just go away. But then in the manga, Hisoka fights Crollo, and he dies. But he had already attached bungee gun to his heart to pump it after he dies, and then he just resurrects. Should it not dissipate once death? Because that happens in JoJo a lot.
Past death, but also make them stronger because of it.
Why?
This suspicion is further built.
Literally why? Why does it make it stronger on death? If it's life energy.
On in the Dark Continent after Hisoka fights Crollo. In the 13th Chairman and Dark Continent arc, we are introduced to Nen beasts. Nen that can take on its own individual form, structure, and identity.
Kind of like that.
Heading into the Dark Continent, I still don't think we know too much about Nen. Story arc after story arc, more applications are introduced.
Okay, pause. At what point does them introducing something become bad? At what point do you go, oh, this ruins Nen?
You could say, at this point, I still don't think we know a lot about Nen. But it's the best power system.
Yeah.
We don't know a lot about it, so we're just going to create it in our mind, and it's the best ever.
I think he's going, what we know about Nen is the best ever. But even still, there's so much that we don't know that you have to go back and go, well, why haven't there been Nen beasts over there? If Netero is the biggest, baddest mother, why didn't he have a Nen beast?
Extremely excited to see how the series and Nen.
It will never end. That man do not care, and y'all need to accept he don't give a about what y'all want.
No, he does not.
Develop.
You could go, yeah, he's mad sick, whatever. He could draw a page a week.
No, he's not mad sick. He don't care.
No, I'm saying you could say that he's mad sick. That's what the excuse could be. But you could bring yourself to do a page a week.
This man
and then
cares.
after a year and a half, you would have a chapter.
This man cares more about playing Dragon Quest than finishing this series y'all love to death. Clap mangaka.
Clap. And it's terrible because he's married to the chick that did Sailor Moon. So she's already just like in the manga sphere, and she's not like, yo, people like this and they want you to finish it and you're just not.
Yeah,
why
but
not,
Hero.
The series and Nen develop in the future whenever Togashi decides he wants to start writing again. But yeah, that's all I have to say for this video. In the end, the video was quite a bit of speculation.
-10. I before that, I was at a 9.
Yeah.
No, the video is a lot of speculation, but it's the best power system in Shonen. I don't speculate with One Piece. I don't speculate with JoJo's. I know what they do.
Man.
Holy crap! No.
For this video. In the end, the video was quite a bit of speculation. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I've wanted to make this video for a while now. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Alright, peace.
And you couldn't get out the audio of you stopping your recording. -10, you bum.
I'm still going 9. That was a bad line, but it wasn't enough to tip it over.
Nope, 10. Pissed me off.
That was not a good video.
It was not a good video.
He said he wasn't going to wiki it, but then he wikied it several times.
And then didn't wiki the stuff I really need wikied.
Nobody's talking about contracts. And contracts breaks the series so hard.
A lot of people are talking about contracts.
But they just go, contracts sure are great. Look at this one instance of contract, moving on.
But the people that speak negatively about it, people don't want to hear that shit.
Oh, of course not. Hunter x Hunter is great with the best power system and character development. It's not a punch monkey show like Dragon Ball.
I swear, it feels like every show that is Dragon Ball, then it was Naruto, and then Hunter x Hunter came out and saved everybody.
Mm-hmm. Blew it out the water. There was Dragon Ball who did all this basic stuff. Naruto, which improved certain things, but it was still pretty bad. But then Hunter x Hunter came, and changed everything.
Please read more series.
Hunter x Hunter is not special. It is not as special as people perceive it to be. Nen is really bad.
It's conceptually good.
You keep saying that, but I'm going, it is bad front to back.
Because conceptually, you spec into this.
No, okay. Yeah, you're right. The specking into stuff, and it makes it less powerful because that's not your affinity. That's some good stuff.
Conceptually good. And then you add layers on it and change things, and then you're just like, oh no. Execution-wise, this is so poor.
I added too much.
I added too many onions.
It'd be pretty fine without contracts. But contracts are just like, yo, no.
It breaks a lot of stuff.
It breaks so much stuff.
Yep. So, that's it for us. We've got 3 videos stored. I think I'm going to put up one of them tonight. And then...
Bleach Month isn't over yet.
Yes, it is.
Hint, hint.
No.
Bleach Month is not over.
It ended.
No.
No,
we got a secret 31st day of that month.
No, we don't.
Oh, yes, we do.
We're in February. There's only 28.
Here it comes. Bleach Month ain't over yet, y'all. We gonna finish it one day.
Oh, wow. We're kind of blazing through these numbers now. We're going to hit Fairy Tail Month very quickly. So, we probably have 2 more videos before Fairy Tail Month, so we should make them good. And then 30, 38, 39, and 40 are going to be...
that's a little bit too far.
What?
Because I'm like, would somebody make a video talking about how great the Snyder Cut is?
Absolutely.
But that seems like it would be around the end of next month. And that's a little too far.
We've got 3 saved, so we're going to do a recording. We're basically doing 3 episodes. It might just make the cut.
And this is saying if they make that video in time. And it's something that meets our standards. And the Zack Snyder cut might be fine. So we might be like, yo,
why are you lying to yourself?
I'm just saying, I don't think it would be 4 hours if he wasn't just like, okay, let me patch up every single hole. But it doesn't mean that it's going to be good.
It was originally a 6-part miniseries.
Yeah, it sure was. But yeah, I think that he's doing enough to be like, he's had all these years of people going, these are the complaints of...
He said he never saw that Justice League.
Did he?
Yeah, he said he never saw Joss Whedon's Justice League.
What?
Never.
Why? But he still has the people going, this Superman just coming back. He has a lot of complaints online that he can draw from.
Yep. Here's a question. What would you put it above and under as far as superhero movies in your own mind right now before it comes out?
Are you talking about DC or on the whole?
On the whole. Below X, above Y. Of what you think it potentially could be.
I think that it would be... below Wonder Woman 1984 and above Captain Marvel.
That's a good area for it. You're way too high. You're way too high.
I don't want to go all the way down like Batman and Robins and what was it, The Shadow or something, some bullshit dumb comic book movie. There was a dude in purple. Oh, let me look this up. Why? What's yours? Where are you thinking?
Below Green Lantern, above Origins.
Really?
Somewhere in that area.
Comic book movie. I remember a purple suit.
Do you think Jonah Hex is the worst comic book movie we've ever seen?
The Phantom. That's what it was called. Look at this dude.
Oh, that looks horrible.
Yeah, it looks pretty bad. I think it would be fighting Elektra.
Oh, maybe that is what we do when we come back.
We could do Elektra or Jonah Hex. Yo, that's money. That's money. But yeah, Origins really.
Mm-hmm.
That bad.
That bad.
Somewhere in that area. What was the other one?
Green Lantern.
Green Lantern.
Below Green Lantern, above Origin. So at the... maybe the best of bad or the worst of eh.
Man, that is... Because I'm leaving it some wiggle room. Nope. Like, yo, there could be some good stuff in here.
Yeah, there's good stuff in almost anything. Does that raise it above a 2?
There would be good enough things that would counteract the bad things.
Absolutely impossible. Do you not remember Zack Snyder movies? Exactly.
300 was fine. 300 is watchable.
Okay, there you go. That's a whole different thing.
Hey, you done spanked it to something else now.
But he is coming out with a new zombie movie. And Day of the Dead was, or Dawn of the Dead was really good.
Okay, but does he have the juice anymore?
Here's do you know the concept of it?
Years ago, what?
People are planning a heist in Las Vegas during the zombie apocalypse.
That sounds pretty good.
Yes. I am down for that.
But it could be really bad.
Okay, you're saying does he have the juice anymore? But you trying to give him this wiggle room for Justice League?
Because there's stuff there in the original Justice League that could be fleshed out
Was
enough.
it Snyder stuff though?
I mean, you got Flash and Batman. Flash and Batman are pretty good. So there are some good things in Justice League that can be fleshed out. The Superman, the end. No, that doesn't count. That was Joss Whedon stuff.
The beginning? Oh no, wait, Whedon. Hey, who do you think shot up Wonder Woman's skirt?
There was quite a lot of that in '84. To be fair.
Nowhere near as much.
It
wasn't as gratuitous.
There you go. Okay, but we're both giving him the wiggle room here.
I'm giving him none when it comes to superhero stuff, and a lot when it comes to zombie stuff, because I have at least one Zack Snyder zombie movie that I think is really good, and 0 Zack Snyder superhero movies that I think are any good. Man of Steel is probably the best, and it's roughly
It's really bad.
But there you go.
I'm just saying.
Bats v Soups.
There is a lot of fan derision online. He could go to any Reddit. He could pay some intern to just go, bring me all the complaints of the Justice League, and then he makes it 4 hours to cover up them holes. He could
but
do
are
that.
the holes covered good?
But are they covered good? We'll
Did you
decide
see the
that
new
later.
Joker image? Where he's
just Jesus. Where he's just Jesus.
Did you not forget that this is an adult superhero movie for adults? And you kids need to stay in your playground while we adulting over here? You are giving this man too much hope. The S don't stand for hope.
I might be.
Stands for
We'll see. Because this will probably be coming out around the time that it comes out, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yeah, it would. Yep. So, we're done here.